September 2nd, 2025. Welcome to This Week in Waukesha, the podcast series, a civic media production produced in cooperation with WAUK Radio and WRJN Radio. WAUK, of course, is 540 AM, 101.1 FM. And I am your host, Don Browne, and I'm coming to you from the office of former Alderman Don Paul Browne here in the Five Points in the Work Hub studios. I am joined as always by my prodigious young producer, the mighty Max Martinson. And we have a very special guest tonight. I want to shout out Debra Schneider for making this introduction. For many of you frequenters of the Waukesha Farmers Market, if you love seafood, you've probably become familiar with Alaska Fresh. And Adria and her husband have been guests on my back when I had the radio show twice. And I think made an appearance even during one of our farmers market. We used to have the part of the broadcast of the farmers market. But Adria now serves on the board of what's called the Waukesha County Green Team. And here to tell us more about it is their president and founder, who's been involved since the launch in 2009, Debra Schneider. Deb, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really good.
Good. And thanks for
Nice to
joining
be
us
here.
too. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
thanks for
Great.
having me.
Terrific. So I guess we'll start. Just kind of give us a brief, 25 words or less. No, just kidding. Description of what the Green Team does for Waukesha County.
Okay. Well, yeah, we do a lot. And to get that down into one little phrase, I'd say that we do education and collaboration with residents and municipalities that lead to change, to actions. So that would get it down to a really short sentence. I the other thing that I want to add to this is that we were founded in 2009, and my co-founder is Brian Walsh. A couple other people that started out with us, but we kind of saw the thing through. And it's kind of surprising that a volunteer organization would last this long, because a lot of
Okay.
organizations start up and maybe 3 to 5 years they're gone.
Yeah.
But it just, to me, speaks to the importance that volunteers and residents of Waukesha County feel about the environment and sustainability here in our county.
Sure. I as a little background, Deb, I've been involved in some recycling efforts in the home building industry, and through some of my research, I learned about one of Wisconsin's favorite daughters, Millie Zantow. I'm sure you're familiar with. Did you ever have the honor of meeting her?
I have not.
Okay. But so for the listeners, she was the one who basically, you could say, founded or created awareness, one of the, the early adopters of plastics recycling, like those little designations on plastic bottles, the 1 through 5, determining recyclability, that she had helped develop those, or I guess was one of the inventors of that. And as well as, I think there's a trade association that she helped co-founded for recycling plastics. Tragically, only 2% of all the post-consumer plastics are recycled.
That is true, and it's one of those things that we have now moved from, really preaching recycling of plastics to how can we just reduce our plastic use, because we know so much of it's ending up in the landfill.
Yes, and it's terrible, especially when a lot of these plastics can be recycled.
Yes.
Especially PVC, to make new products.
Exactly. And I just want to mention that I have a recycled water bottle carpet in my house.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's neat.
It took a lot of research to find this.
Oh, really? Where'd you buy it? Where was it made?
Well, it's made in the United States. But it's really a nice carpet. I mean, when we had to replace the carpet in our bedroom, we put that in, and it's soft, it's durable. Yeah, so it can be done.
A carpet made from recycled plastics. That's amazing. Yeah. That's extremely cool. So obviously recycling's one of your pillars, but what other areas of, like, I guess, green education or environmental awareness does the green team do?
Yeah, so, we started out with, recycling, permaculture and gardening, which is really has to do with the environment
Right.
and energy. And our philosophy is that we move in the especially in the early days, we would move our interest level to where our volunteers were passionate about.
Okay.
And so recycling was one of those things. There is a big interest in Waukesha County on things like gardening and native habitat and pollinators and all of that. And so that's one of our focal points. And one of the things that we're doing now and we've gotten into is to focus on native habitat certification through the National Wildlife Federation
Very cool.
and to educate people on that and to promote that type of activity. A second thing that we do is we do outreach to municipalities, and so we have community groups that are volunteers, and they work with their municipalities in where they live. So that would be like Greener Oconomowoc is one
Hmm.
group.
Okay.
There's a group in Pewaukee, which is Pewaukee Green Team. There's a group in Elm Grove.
Sure.
We're just getting started in the city of Waukesha. So if any of your listeners are interested,
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's actually an alderperson who is trying to get that one up and going.
And who's that?
So that it's not announced yet. So I'm
Um,
just going to. So if you're interested, you can contact us, and Joanna Salinas, who's our outreach coordinator,
okay.
can get you connected. Yeah,
I bet I
I
can
don't want
guess
to
who's a
have her
former
hear
council
her
member.
name on your show and
I think I know who
no.
she is. Yep. So,
So, um, so those are some focal points. The other thing that we do is we collaborate with Midwest Regional Energy Association
okay.
on a solar group buy, and we've been doing those every year. We've
Mhm.
done two in connection with Jefferson County, and
Mm,
this year we've done one in connection with our collaboration with Milwaukee County. And so we have through those programs, I think the number is close to 100 residents have
mm.
implemented residential solar
Wow.
on their
Meaning like
houses.
solar roof panels?
Solar roof panels, exactly, so that they are generating, electricity into the grid, yeah.
Wow. See, I'd heard of one of my former nonprofit clients who actually is into composting. We'll get to that in a second. Put a pin in that. But they were also visiting a fellow nonprofit in the same space, and this other nonprofit installed solar roof panels. You know, both of these nonprofits house people, and their utility costs went down like 32% or something like that in the first year.
Yeah.
So there is traction that's measurable and justifiable.
Yeah, and I do have to say that, one of our community groups in Pewaukee, who's working with the Pewaukee, and this is the city of Pewaukee
Okay,
municipality, they were putting up, some new building, and they said, you really ought to, take a look at solar. Well, they ended up doing it. They have a ground installation that is now supporting
okay,
all of the energy for their municipal building. So it can be done. It's cost justifiable.
sure,
A municipality doesn't do it if it's going to
sure,
cost money.
okay,
It's got to be fiscally responsible,
sure,
especially here in Waukesha County.
okay. Um, and what about our? I'm trying to get I want to make sure I have the phraseology right. When I lived in Chicago, I knew City Hall had it. It was like they called it like a rooftop garden or a garden rooftop.
Yep,
And it's not a
agreed.
garden
Mhm.
as most of us know it. It's just a rooftop where foliage grows, and it's a natural insulator
Yeah.
and very energy efficient. Is that still fairly common or something that people are going after?
I don't think it's real common. I think it's one of those things that, they're still looking for the cost justification on that.
Sure, sure.
Um, I know that there's an organization called the Catholic Ecology Center,
Mm,
which is in Neosho, and they
okay.
just renovated their main building and they did green roof. They
Okay.
also put in geothermal. They also have,
Smart.
you know, some passive solar and all of that. But that's because they're a demonstration site as well.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay. Terrific. I want to pause for a quick second here with Debra Schneider, my guest on this week's offering of This Week in Waukesha, the podcast, just to share some local news. And this took place yesterday on Facebook. My regular listeners may recall when I was doing radio a couple years back, I had a Waukesha fireman named Mark Schrader, who was joined by um, Lieutenant Dan Notling, who I believe now is the fire chief in Kettle Moraine, and they are raising awareness, raising funds for Mark's family, for Mark's daughter, who had been at age 8, I believe, was diagnosed with um, leukemia, the cancer, the few months before Thanksgiving, and so I'm guessing this had to have been 2023. I think they came on, and so we were promoting a fundraiser, much like we're doing here at Deborah, and we'll get to that in a second. But as you can imagine, Mary went through a tough battle, but she had a slogan called "Fight Like a Bear" that her family, their friends, the community really embraced through tons of fundraisers and constant updates from Mary's mother and father on her progress, and obviously some of the tribulations through her cancer journey. But yesterday, the immediate family, the Schrader family, went on to Facebook to announce that they have a treatment date scheduled for January 29th of 2026. So I guess 5 months away, where Mary gets to ring the bell. And so just very, very excited to share that news for those who aren't aware of it already. Just a wonderful story about a wonderful family, and also a great tribute to the Waukesha Fire Department and the Firefighters Union, who played a very big role in raising funds and raising awareness for Mary and her family. And so wishing them well, and God bless and all the good things. And what a great way to start September and the fall. So, um, I also encourage everybody to check out the podcast I did last week, which is published with Curry Pennebaker, an activist for mental health and suicide prevention. And Curry has been very public about his own mother losing her battle with depression by gunpoint before Curry turned 2 years old. And the wonderful work that Curry's done over the years to promote awareness and being good neighbors, and also advocating nationally for responsible gun control. And so I encourage everybody to listen to that podcast if you haven't already. But anyway, back to tonight's event with Deborah. She has the Waukesha County Green Team has a wonderful fundraiser coming up in Heartland in Waukesha County. Tell us more about it, Deb, please.
Yeah, so we have a farm to fork fundraiser that's on September 21st, and it's from 11 to 3 o'clock. So, what we're focusing on in this farm to fork is local food, of course. And we have, well, it's going to be hosted at the Rustic Manor, 1848. That's just right outside of Heartland on Highway 83, right smack in Lake
Nice.
Country.
Oh wow.
What's really nice about this venue is it's snuggled up to the Bark River,
Okay.
and it's on 12 acres. Has some beautiful native flowers,
Okay.
flower beds, and all of that. So it's a really nice venue. We have Flower Girl and Flame, Kettle Range Meats, Carl's Country Market, and
Oh,
the
nice.
dessert top off is Honey Pie Cafe for apple pie.
Over there on Pilgrim Road, right? In the
Yeah,
falls? Yeah, nice.
yeah.
Way to go,
So
Carls.
yeah. So it's gonna be a feast. And we also have the Dennis Klopfer Jazz Trio.
Oh, cool.
And then if you're looking for something to do during that time frame, because if you're eating
Yeah.
isn't enough, we also have some exhibitors that will be there,
Mm,
and it'll give an opportunity for people to have conversations with with our exhibitors. So we've got wild ones, and of course, we're kind of like focusing toward like this native habitat and food kind of
Yeah,
theme in this
sure.
one. So wild ones, the Menominee Falls chapter, you can get your questions answered
Okay.
about, how to put in native gardens and to manage native gardens. We also have the we're planning having Johnson's Nursery and then also Fresh Roots, um, who is Alec Lapoitavon, and he helps install gardens at people's residence that are combinations of food and flowers and
Okay.
natives and those kinds of things. Um, so Retzer Nature Center, we have a
Yeah.
great relationship with the county, and
Love
they're going
that
to be
too.
bringing their small animals. They're really
Oh,
little
cool.
animals.
Sure. Sure.
So there's things for kids and families as well. So we're really excited. I think it'll be a great event.
Yeah, sounds like it. So, and what that's Sunday the 21st,
Sunday the 21st starts at 11 a.m. and goes to 3 p.m.
11 to 3 on the 21st. And is it $40 per person? Did I get that correct?
It's
Or more?
60. It's
60. Okay.
$60 per person. Yeah. So it is our fundraiser. So that's,
Yeah.
something that we're trying to do is raise funds to
Commission.
support this organization and this mission. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I think that's a wonderful idea because you're promoting your mission through food and drink and nature. I hear it's a beautiful, what's it called rustic farms. Did I get that correct? The
Rustic Manor,
rustic manor,
1848.
excuse me.
Yeah.
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 And
And
yeah,
and community.
in community. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, yeah. And you mentioned Retzer, so it's a good opportunity for me to jump back to composting. As I mentioned, my former client recently is Ronald McDonald House. I left after 6.5 years to pursue another nonprofit opportunity, and but they started doing composting as part of their global charities mission for greater environmental stewardship. And they would get you may I'm sure you heard of Vendor Compost Crusader if you've worked with them, partnered with them, and anything like that. But they provided metrics, and that's some of the and they're kind of analogous, so to say, like the amount of compost that's been, I guess, repurposed and diverted from the landfills is equivalent in terms of energy savings was the equivalent of like driving like 12,000 miles or 12,000 miles of gas use or something like that. And that's staggering. And now, granted, it's high volumes of people that live there, but you mentioned Retzer, and they have that wonderful composting. How would you describe it?
It display.
A display. Thank you. That shows how you can do it, and from your own home,
Yeah.
and something your kids can participate in. And I am a late comer to that. I want to do it at some point. I want to do it soon enough, but I think there's definitely there's opportunities for people to make a difference in their own homes and hence for their own communities. So
Yeah, and I think what people don't always realize is that throwing food waste into the landfill is one of the biggest sources of methane and greenhouse gases in a landfill.
I didn't
So
know
if
that.
we
Thanks for
can,
sharing.
yeah,
Yeah,
so if we can keep our food out of the landfill and into the compost bin,
right.
um, yeah, it's really it's a win-win because
Yeah,
it cuts down on greenhouse gas and then it also creates great compost for your gardening.
yeah, sure, sure. Oh yeah, no, thanks for shedding light on that because it really is a double whammy. What goes into the landfill hurts us in the long run and in the short term. But then what many of those materials or waste, especially food waste, how that could have been repurposed would have had some real long term benefits.
Exactly.
And so it's something people to think about when they're doing some disposal. So, well, we've covered a lot in this first 20 minutes, and I know I've been jumping around. So, in our next podcast, we're gonna talk with Deb more about, I guess, the Waukesha County Green Team's priorities and maybe some of the big wins or maybe some milestones what you've achieved in the 17 years of operation or as you approach your 17th anniversary. And Yeah, no, I want to thank you for sticking it out with us so far, and then looking forward to continuing this conversation here on This Week in Waukesha on civicmedia.us. And if you have a story to tell, we want to hear it. We know Deb's got some more stories to tell in this second podcast, so please stick around for more. And thank you.